Brand new Android tutorial, and today my topic of discussion will be intent and sharing, using the intent and intent filter to share your content to the activity of another applications. Okay, so Android allows us to navigate between activities both within your app and also the activities provided by another applications. And what are those activities? For example, we can take system camera activity to capture photo, and also we can take contacts. We can launch the contact app to choose contact, add, edit, stuff like that. Okay, so and also the most important concept that you have to understand while we are dealing with the intent and sharing or navigating between activities, we have to understand that the all the activities that you want to navigate must be declared in the manifest file. Okay, it must be declared here explicitly, it must be declared here. Okay, the activities, because the manifest, as I told you in my previous lecture, a manifest is like a is a main file, is a configuration file of your app. So whenever your Android operating systems launch your active like applications, then it's gonna read this file. Okay, so manifest is the most important file which has all the activities declared, services, activities. Okay, are declared here. Okay, um, and okay, let's go here. So what are intents are something, it's like a description of something that your app wants to do, or wants an activity to perform. So it's like a kind of an action. Okay, description of an action your activity wants to perform. And there are two kinds of intent, that are intent explicit and implicit. So let me give you a brief description of what is a explicit difference between explicit and implicit intent functions. Let me create a demo intent, okay, function, which will give you the difference of let me create a explicit intent. Okay, the explicit intent is require context, and then you have to provide the class name, that is main activity class. Okay, so this is a explicit intent, whereas you have also a implicit intent, which is we provide the action, right, and the action send. Okay, so this is implicit intent. So if you see, there are the same intent, but which is getting different parameters, right? So what are the difference between explicit what and implicit intent? Explicit intent are the intent which we specify, which we is used to launch a specific activity. Just like right now, I'm using main activity to launch. I'm using this uh, using this intent to launch the main activity. I'm launching a specific activity using the name of the target. So my target name is this activity. This is my target activity that I'm using this intent to launch this target activity. This is a explicit intent. Okay, and they are typically used to launch other activities within applications, that we already know it. And uh, uh, okay, so yeah, that's a simple description of explicit intent. Whereas implicit intent is very important, because also we use implicit intent to actually share the content to another applications, right? So as you see, the action that is used is action send. Actually, also we will I will also make a brief demo of like how we share our content to another activity. Okay, I will give you a brief demonstration. uh, uh, Actually, implicit intent are the intent which provides an abstract description of the operation it is performing. So it's like, if you see, action send is an explicit description of the operation, right? They are mainly used to launch activity that are exposed by other applications, like also sharing the content, right? So we can do this. We can also open the camera using explicit intent, like action. There are different kind of actions. If you see here, action default, action date change, action dial. You can use action dial to dial the the phone numbers, right? Action edit, to edit, you know, you can action insert. If you see action camera button, okay, so there, call button, camera button, you see. And there are different kinds of actions. We this implicit actions, I mean like implicit intents, I mean to say. uh, so and another important thing you have to understand is each implicit intent must have a action, that's for sure, and implicit intent also have a category and data type. Okay, so we will category and data type, right? So we will be also checking there about implicit intent. And another interesting thing is like what is intent filter. An intent filter is used to expose that your activity can respond to implicit intent, you know. Explicit implicit intent also have a we can use intent filter to implicit intent to expose that your activity can respond to certain actions, category or type. And I told you that implicit intent also have a category, data type, and actions, obviously. And so let's go, and I will give you a simple example of for example, if you go back to our action, we have this intent filter. You know, it's actually what this filter is doing is like it has a action, in it has a category. As I told you, it's an implicit in it's exposing your activity can respond to such implicit. This filter is exposing your intent to show that your intent can respond to certain actions, okay, certain categories. So what particular this intent filter is doing is trying to say that your activity is a main activity of action type main, and is a category type launcher. That means it's a launching activity, that is the main activity whenever you open the activity, like app. Okay, for example, if I launch this activity, your launcher activity is the main activity. So this is the meaning of this intent filter. It's exposing your activity to be as a main activity, and also of action type main, and it's also a launcher activity. Okay, so that's the concept. Okay, if you see, intent actions are used to describe the type of things that can be done, like as I told you, like action camera button or action send, like different kind of actions I told you here. Action call, action send, action answer, all right, you know, action assist, you know, something like that. Those are intent actions. And intent category are is a subtype of action. It is not always used, but it's like you, for example, in this context we are using category as a launcher, you know. So sometimes it can be used, okay, but not always used. Okay, and intent data type are allows you to support specific data type, like data type for example for test jpg image and stuff like that. And we will also I will also give you the example of intent data type. Okay, so uh, now this is the theoretical description of all this. Now I will create a brief demo app to show you, like whenever you win the game, I would create a share button to share this share the content to another application using a intent, explicit intent, like implicit intent, I mean to say. Okay, so let's try to uh, do this demo. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is let's go to the game home fragment. Okay, what we do is we have to actually add the menu here. How do we add the menu? The first thing we have to do to add the menu is we do it somewhere here. We add the menu set has option menu is true. So this is the way we said that we have option menu. Then we override two methods that are on menu on create options menu. So we create options menu here, and we inflate the menu saying dot id dot menu menu dot share menu, and is a menu. Okay, actually, I have already created a share menu which contains a icon that is a share button, the title that is a share, visibility, and stuff like that. Let me go to the design and show you. It's something like a share menu here. Okay, so yeah, it's a simple share menu here. Okay, so let's go back to our activity. So we have already created the option menu. Now I would like to create a function. It's a private function intent. Okay, uh, create a get share intent. Okay, so what I'm doing here is okay, I will create an intent here that is a implicit intent, which is intent action send. We are sending the data, right? Sharing the data, that is sending the data to another application. Then share intent, as I told you, we have a as I told you, in my description here, I have told you that the implicit intent has most importantly three types, that is the action, the category, and the data type. So if you see right now, I have the action, that is action send. Now what are the type, the data type that I was trying to explain you is a text plain. Okay, if you see here, the intent data type is text plain. Okay, and you can also use different intent types, right? Like image, jpeg, stuff like that. Okay, if you are opening a image, okay, and stuff like that. So okay, now we have share intent extra. So I can put also the extra, like intent extra text. So you can also pass the extra text, like you can pass the arguments answer to the intent, and we can simply return the share intent, right? So this function is actually returning a share intent. And let's create another function which is share success, and what is doing is start activity, and we are passing the intent is get share intent, right? And now okay, so we have created a menu, and we have also created the intent to share the data. Okay, the intent we have created an implicit intent to send the data of the type plain text, and also passing some extra arguments that we want to pass, right? So now how can we share the intent? We created the menu, options menu. Now we have to do something on options option item selected. So on option item selected, what we have to do, we have to just call the particular method that we have created. When your item dot item id, when your item id is like id dot share the menu item, because if you see, our share menu has an item id that is a share. So I just make, if whenever you select and it's a main item, then you share success. That means now you are able to share the menu, I mean, let's share the content to another application. So let's run the app. And let's see a demo if it really works. Right now if you see, we don't have a share menu item here. So now I think a share menu item will be created. Okay, so now let's play the game. Let's win the game. And you see, of course, we have a share menu item here. So whenever you click the menu, what happens is like, we have a different possibility of sharing text. Plain text is available, like we can share from the Bluetooth, Drive, Gmail message. And so this is a way of sharing items. It's a brief, I have given a brief demo of how do we share the content using implicit intent. Okay, so this is a way of sharing the implicit intent, but often sharing is done so often that we can also use a share compact to make it more easy, right? So how can we do that using a share compact? So we can do it pretty much easily in this way. Okay, I will try to comment this. This is like classical way of sharing. Okay, but the better way is this one, is return using share compact and intent builder from your required activity. And then you see, you have to pass what you want to pass. Set type, type that is a plain text, plain set text, that is get string, the string dot set text success. Okay, and then intent. You see, so we have pretty much easily like summarized using a share compact. It's much easier and much more compact and readable. It's using a chain form, and like it's more compact, like of creating a implicit intent. So it's much better, I guess. um, then yeah, if even if you work it again, let's try to run it again using this new way of creating a implicit intent, then it must work. Okay, let's do that again. You see, it's still working. So that's this is the recommended way of creating a implicit intent to share the content. Okay, so now finally it's still not okay. I mean, like there are still some there can be some bugs, right? For example, if you if you create an intent like implicit intent to perform certain actions, but the type of the actions is like, for example, is not if you remove the type of the action, like for example, whenever we create an implicit intent to share the action, no, share the content, and like the action it's performing uh, is a action send, right? So it's like we are sending, we are doing the performing the actions, and like the Android will automatically like okay, I will show you when multiple Android apps can handle the same implicit intent. Like if you see, the multiple Android apps can handle the same implicit intent, so they are displayed in a menu here. So because there are multiple apps which can handle of implicit intent of type text plain. Okay, but for example, right now if we remove this text plain and if you run the app, it's gonna crash because the type is not defined properly. So this can also create a bug, and this can create a app to crash. If you see, the app crashed because actually we have not defined a type, and there is no application which can handle this kind of intent, because the type is not specified. So how do we remove the bug, and how do we handle this such kind of errors? Because for the moment, our in my example, I have given you a very simple like implementation of sharing a text, like implicit like text file, right? And I've for to share the simple text file, I have created an implicit intent of type text and action send, and obviously, right? So there are in your application, in your complex app, there can be many cases in which you want to share not only a plain text, but you want to share some other informations, like maybe you want to share a image, you want to do some different activities. So there can be like opening a web view, right? So in that context, there can be a crash, like for example, if your type is not specifically set, then how to handle this thing? So we can actually handle the case by doing some little check here, like on we can make a check here. If the activity resolves, how can we handle that? We can pretty much handle, um, if you see here, the possible was, if there aren't any compatible apps that support our sharing, the code will crash. So we can easily simulate the crash by removing. We can simulate, yeah, we simulated the crash. So we can handle it in various ways, like catching the exception and throwing a toast message. Also we can do that, but the best way is to handle by doing such thing, like we can if the sharing is not possible, we can hide the share button, right? So that is the best way to handle the if there are possible bugs, like handle the this kind of hiding the sharing if it is not possible. So uh, check if the activity resolves. So if we get activity require activity package manager, if the activity is not resolved, then we simply if not resolved, we we hide the menu item, share menu item. So pretty much, okay, if you see, we have a menu, we find the particular item from the menu, then we set visible is false. Okay, so this is a best way of handling the implicit intent when the activity is not resolved. So activity not resolved means like there is no application which can handle your implicit intent, so in this case you hide the share button. That means you don't pass the implicit intent. So now it must work. Now the application will not crash. It will not crash because it will not let you perform that implicit intent, right? Because the button is hidden here, and that's a way to handle this. So now let's remove this sorry, let's remove and try to set the type, run the app. Cool. If the intent is there, like if there are applications who can handle this intent, it will show the button. Obviously it's showing the button, if you see, and we have this there are various applications who can handle our implicit intent to share the content. And thanks guys. So this was the brief demonstration of my tutorial that was trying to explain you about intent and sharing content in your Android applications. So thank you very much.